Good evening, everyone. Here's a look at what you need to know about the weather heading into tomorrow. This is presented by Airtight Construction. All right, looking at the evening temperatures right now, though, not too bad out there. Mid to upper 70s across a lot of the area. Now, what's going to happen, the big change, is a lot of us are going to be a lot drier as we go into tomorrow. Some of us will still be seeing the rainfall. I'll show you the model in just a second. But what that's going to mean is you look forward to tomorrow afternoon, you're starting to see those, over 100-degree heat index numbers showing up. And that's just because we're going to have more sunshine in spots, less rainfall. And so areas around New Orleans and going off, toward the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Florida Panhandle, we're getting into the mid to upper 90s as far as the heat index goes. And some areas will probably get over that 100-degree mark. These are the areas that are going to be a little bit drier for the next few days. You look west, that's where the rainfall is going to be falling still. And you see what happens when you have more clouds and more rain. Of course, the temperatures are not going to be as bad. Those are 70s and 80s showing up. Now, looking at the current radar this evening, not much happening across a lot of the Gulf Coast. So pretty clear. Not much rain showing up. You go over toward the Florida Peninsula. That's where some rain's falling this evening. And of course, over west of San Antonio, that big concern area over there, to the west around Uvalde and south of Kerrville around Medina. These are the areas that need to watch for that river flooding, flash flooding going into the overnight hours and into tomorrow. Big concern in that area. And as you look at the flash flood risk areas, some of us along the Gulf Coast have been taken out of the flash flood risk. You can see those green areas now extending off to the north of us. But the problem spots are going to be in areas around Houston. Still a slight chance around there, but if you go west towards San Antonio and that pink area, those are going to be the spots that really need to monitor the weather heading into the overnight hours and into tomorrow, where flash flooding is possible, river flooding possible. Got to watch closely because some of those spots around the pink risk zones have already received 15 inches of rainfall. So anything else is going to be very dangerous when it comes to those river levels. So looking at the model going into the rest of tonight and then into tomorrow, all right, this is showing up right now. Looks pretty accurate, right? The model's initializing pretty well. The rainfall around the Florida Peninsula and some rainfall over there in Texas. Now, as we go through the overnight hours, watch what happens here. I do want you to look over there toward San Antonio or west of San Antonio. Look at those storms that are going to be developing overnight into tomorrow morning. That's heavy rainfall. It's not moving much. Major concern in that direction. But further east around us, we get into tomorrow morning. This is around 8 or 9 a.m. Not much happening, right? So compared to the last few days, maybe a quiet commute. We get into tomorrow afternoon. This is around 2 o'clock now. We're starting to see some showers and storms around the Houston area, southwest Louisiana maybe. But as you push this forward here into the late afternoon, you can see areas east, right? Baton Rouge east over toward the Florida Panhandle. Not much showing up as far as rainfall. The rainfall becomes much more isolated tomorrow. That's why the temperatures are going to be much warmer for tomorrow afternoon. So expect the kind of drier weather in spots that have seen the storms for the last few days. That's going to be here for the next, 2, 3, even 4 days heading toward the weekend as some ridging builds in place for areas east now. So that's what's happening tomorrow, locally across some of the region. Wanted to touch on that area in the tropics that had the potential for development, maybe still has a very slight chance. But again, it wasn't really, it didn't matter if it becomes a named storm or if it doesn't. There's going to be some area of low pressure getting into the eastern Gulf. So I have a few people on the page who have asked about, I'm taking a beach vacation over there for the next, going into this weekend, into next week. This is Sunday afternoon. Notice that green, right? There is going to be some sort of disturbance just kind of hanging off the coast. Going into, there's the afternoon on Sunday. Here's Monday afternoon, still there, right? And that continues even into Tuesday and Wednesday. There's a decent shot at rainfall, and I bet the rip currents are going to be an issue as well. So maybe not the best beach week next week. I don't want to say it's going to be a washout as far as rainfall goes. We just got to keep monitoring the weather situation. It does look a little rainy across the Florida Panhandle, Florida Peninsula by Sunday and extending into next week. So maybe tropical development not going to happen, but certainly looks like some rainfall will be happening there. So that's a look at the weather and what you need to know for tomorrow and moving forward into the rest of this week. Thank you for joining tonight. This is, of course, sponsored again by Airtight Construction. Everyone, have a good rest of your evening.